Story number 7, the story of 2 grains of rice. In an old granary filled with sacks of plump, golden rice, 2 grains were carefully selected to become seeds for the next planting season. These 2 grains, robust and full of life, were the farmer's hope for a prosperous harvest. Each carried the potential to multiply and sustain life, yet their paths would soon diverge in unexpected ways. One day, the farmer decided it was time to plant the seeds. He took the 2 grains and prepared to sow them into the nearby fields. However, the 2 grains didn't share the same mindset about their destiny. The first grain lay in the farmer's hand, overcome with worry. It envisioned itself being buried in cold, damp soil, its body breaking apart, and losing its pristine form. Fear crept in, and it thought, "Why should I let myself be destroyed in the dark, damp earth? I don't want to lose my perfect shell and the nutrients I preserved so carefully. It's better for me to find a safe corner where I can remain whole and untouched forever." With that thought, the grain rolled out of the farmer's hand and found a hidden spot in the corner of the granary. It nestled there, convinced it had made the wisest choice to preserve itself. In contrast, the second grain eagerly anticipated being planted. It saw its burial in the soil not as an end but as the beginning of something meaningful. Filled with hope, it thought, "I was chosen to be sown into the earth, to embrace the sun and grow into a new plant. Even if it means breaking apart, that's how I'll discover my true purpose." This grain accepted its fate with joy and excitement, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. The farmer took the second grain to the field, carefully placing it into the soft soil. At first, darkness enveloped the grain, and the cold, damp earth pressed down on its tiny form. It felt itself begin to break apart, its hard shell dissolving. Yet, instead of despair, the grain felt a surge of energy rising from within. As the first rains of the season fell, the soil became rich with nourishment. The grain absorbed the water and warmth, and a small green sprout emerged from its core, reaching upward toward the light. Day by day, the sprout grew stronger. Sunlight kissed its leaves, rain fed its roots, and it transformed into a tall, vibrant rice plant. Its green stalks swayed gracefully in the wind, and soon, it bore golden grains of rice, heavy with promise. From one small seed, it had become a source of sustenance for many, bringing life to hundreds of new grains. Meanwhile, back in the granary, the first grain lay untouched in its hidden corner. Days turned into weeks, and nothing changed. It received no water, no light, and no nourishment. The nutrients it had so carefully preserved in its shell proved useless. Gradually, the grain dried out, its once vibrant form shriveling into nothingness. Forgotten and lifeless, it vanished without leaving any impact on the world. The story of the 2 grains of rice offers a profound lesson about the choices we make in life. The first grain clung to the illusion of safety, retreating into a shell of fear to avoid risk. But by refusing to grow, it condemned itself to a meaningless existence. The second grain, however, embraced its purpose. It faced uncertainty, endured hardship, and sacrificed its initial form. In doing so, it discovered its true value, living a life of contribution and transformation. This story reflects the principles of Stoicism, a philosophy that teaches us to confront challenges, accept change, and find meaning in struggle. Life, like the journey of the second grain, often requires us to let go of our comfort zones and embrace the unknown. Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher, once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." The first grain viewed being sown into the soil as destruction and rejected its purpose. But the second grain saw the same process as a chance to grow and contribute, transforming its perspective into a source of strength. Marcus Aurelius, another great Stoic thinker, wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." The challenges the second grain faced, darkness, pressure, and dissolution, weren't obstacles but stepping stones that enabled it to grow into a flourishing plant. Similarly, our struggles and uncertainties are not enemies. They are opportunities for growth, testing our resilience and teaching us to uncover our potential. Another key lesson in the story is the concept of sacrifice. The first grain feared losing its form, clinging to the illusion of permanence. But in doing so, it forfeited its potential. The second grain understood that growth requires letting go. Stoic philosopher Seneca noted, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." Like the second grain, we must be willing to sacrifice comfort and familiarity to create something meaningful. True fulfillment comes from transformation and contribution, not from preserving ourselves unchanged. The story presents two distinct paths we can choose in life. 1. The path of safety, staying within our comfort zone, avoiding risks, and preserving the status quo. While this may feel secure in the short term, it leads to stagnation and ultimately, a wasted life. 2. The path of growth, embracing challenges, taking risks, and striving for transformation. Though this path involves discomfort and uncertainty, it leads to growth, purpose, and a lasting impact. As Epictetus reminds us, you cannot control what happens to you, but you can control how you respond to it. By choosing to respond with courage and purpose, we, like the second grain, can turn challenges into opportunities for growth. Take a moment to reflect on your own life. Are you living like the first grain, clinging to comfort and avoiding risk? Or are you embracing the uncertainty of growth, like the second grain? Growth is not easy. It requires sacrifice, persistence, and the willingness to face failure. But it is through these challenges that we discover our true strength and purpose. Think of one fear or obstacle that's holding you back. What step can you take today to face it? Remember, failure isn't the enemy, it's a teacher. Like the second grain, every small sacrifice you make today plants the seeds for a brighter future. The story of the two grains reminds us that life's true value lies in our willingness to contribute and transform. Don't settle for mere existence. Take risks, embrace challenges, and live with purpose. As Marcus Aurelius wisely said, live each day as if it were your last. If today were your final day, would you choose the safety of stagnation or the courage to grow and leave a legacy? Let this story inspire you to break free from your shell, face the unknown, and create a life worth remembering. The journey may not be easy, but it is always worth it.